Well, I got back from a golf trip. We'll talk about that. That would be the good news. A little bit of bad news. And as usual, we're going to talk club fittings, club repairs, golf club opinions, all here on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Next. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary here. And this is What's in My Drawers Golf Talk, where old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and we start talking about what was in the drawers in my shop, and that's just turned into a worldwide discussion. And this isn't going to be any different. So that's what we're going to talk about is all the different things. So is one of the first things I really want to talk about is we got a bit of bad news with our other dog, Erin. We believe that she's had a stroke, and so she's on the 18th fairway getting ready to head to the clubhouse, we believe. We'll see. Hope might beyond hope, but at 13, 14 years old, it's what happens. And it's like losing a family member, and it's not fun. It's one of the necessities of life. And the fact now, the other part is I'm having technical difficulties because this doesn't want to work with this because they're not of the same company. And all that does is just make me mad. All right, good news, though. Let's talk about the good stuff. Good news is PGA Wyndham Tour, Jay Kim won, right? Jay Kim with a J Hun behind him. That won it. I didn't get to see or hear any of it because I was at a My Golf Spy regional get-together on the East Coast. It was in Queenstown Harbor, Maryland. And I would show you one of these things, except for my iPhone would not communicate with my computer, so there's a expanded hard drive on it, and it went into an immediate backup mode. And there are another about 200 more photos before I can do anything with it. So as we're talking, if you see me looking down for extended periods of time, I'm trying to get you a photo. So anyway, the Queenstown Harbor Golf Course. It is in Queenstown Harbor. And it's on, for those of you know, it's in Maryland. And I used to live in Maryland on the mainland side, I guess the way to call it, in a town called Cape St. Clair. And it was right there next to the bay. And it was next to the bay, and grew up there, swimming in the water, the whole 9 yards. It was when Jaws actually came out. So if that doesn't date me. And went back and visited, and sure enough, everything was still there. Just everything seemed smaller for some reason. So we got through all that, and you have to go over the Bay Bridge, which this thing is well over a mile long. You get over the other side. You don't go very long, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles, and it's on the left-hand side. And the guys at My Golf Spy, a couple of the other forum members, were nice enough to honcho the whole thing. And we had a cottage, and the cottage slept 20, and there was like 8 to 10 of us. And so it was very, very comfortable. It was very, very easy to deal with. And it was on the second tee of one of the two 18-hole golf courses that was on there. One of the golf courses called the River, and the other one was called the Lakes. The River was called the River because it was on the Chester River. And for your history buffs, as we were finding out as we were going by, is that was the area where I believe it was on that side. Yeah, it was on that side where the Star Spangled Banner was pinned, where the guy was Francis Scott Key was on a boat and watching it, and he was pinning the Star Spangled Banner. So there it is. So there's history all over that place. The river course is a little bit longer, a little bit tighter, with a little bit more undulation on the green. I still think it's a fair test. I shot an 88, but I had some record number of 3 putts, and which brings me to, and this is the kind of they had a prize for the most 3 putts. Guess who won? It is a putt out with a My Golf Spy logo in it. So, and the thing with the 3 putts is every shot that I had that was a 3-putt was easily over 60 foot long. And I would get it up there to within 3 or 4 feet, and I would putt right at it. I was going right at the hole, and that little mound that you get around the hole, I just didn't put it hard enough, and it would go whoop, and it would go right around. And it was awful. And it just started becoming a joke. And that's how I won that. The best part was, hey, backup is complete. Do not delete. No, because I'm not going to trust you. And do you want to? No. All right. So we'll see what it does here. I think we're done. All right, we're going to try that out and see what happens. So anyway, we went out that night and had a lot of fun with putting. There was after we'd gotten a good meal in, and some guys brought some barbecued pork, and another guy made tacos, which were phenomenal. In the morning, we had some homemade ham sandwiches were made by one of the participants' wife, and then some bread that was made. And there was bagels. I mean, there was enough food for an army, and it was delicious. And we sat down and had a lot of camaraderie. It was definitely worth the visit. It was definitely worth the time, and it was definitely a good time. And anyway, after that, we went out and putted, and we were putting these really, really long putts. And I still, if you go to the My Golf Spy forum, it talks about the regional event and having fun. There's a putt off or a synchronized putting, and I'm the one that gets the putt out first, and I'm the one that finishes last. That was just the exact what was going on with my putting. Well, then we handed out these prizes. Out of these prizes, we went to the lakes, which is the easier of the two courses. It's just a tad shorter, but there was, and they say it's a little bit more open. I'd say 2/3, but there were some that were probably strategically more difficult than that was on the river. So it just depends on how you cut it. And I got paired with the two biggest hitters, of course, and because we had to leave early or do something along that lines. And I ended up having 16 putts on the front nine, 3 1-putts and 1 3-putt at the very end because I was just more worried about leaving than anything else. And so it was pretty cool. And so I said it was the power of the putt out without even opening the box. And we got through it and obviously shot a much lower score. And that helps when you're not 3-putting everything. So but it was definitely well worth it. I got out while I was waiting because I got there very, very early because of the flight, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The area surrounding it is really nice. The area of the folks at the golf course were very, very nice. And I got in there early, and I said, well, I snuck in part of a round there, and I ended up getting partnered up with a guy that was on a SWAT team. And we got to talking, and it was his birthday, and he was expecting his first child. So he's like, "You got any kids?" And I said, "Yeah, they're about as old as you are." So it was kind of funny to the generational gap that was happening there. But good man, he was a good man, and so we did that. As far as the flight goes, they talk about having all these difficulties. Going out was about as pure, silky smooth as it could possibly be. Got the bags checked in at the Sky Cap, had my tickets already, walked through the TSA. They make you go through those back and forths. I felt like a mouse in a maze, and walked right up to the TSA person. They told me I didn't have to take off my shoes. Stuff went in, out I went. Boom, I'm waiting on the flight, got right in, no big deal. On the way back, it was very, very similar. I had to drop off the car, got on the shuttle, got the TSA, got through all that, and then I had 4 hours to wait. Why did I do that? Well, it's because I had to. They have what's tourist traffic or what they call beach traffic, and it gets really, really thick right around noon, and it becomes this massive, massive delay in the terms of hours. So I jumped in front of that, and I got out there, and I had 4 hours. So everything's going good. Got a bit of a lunch, And as the flight gets near, I get delayed. And then I get delayed again. And then I get delayed again. And we finally get on there and we're sitting there ready to rock and roll. And then we get told we got to wait because there's more luggage coming that wasn't there before. And I'm just like, gee, many Christmas, man. When is this going to stop? So when I was supposed to actually get home at around 7, or maybe even 8, I got home around 10, a little bit later than that. So when we figured it out, by the time I left, I could have driven home in the same fashion as I if I would have driven, but that was because I went early. Okay, that's just because I went early. All right, let's see if that works. So that was the golf trip. Definitely. So it was 8, 10 guys that never saw each other before, except for they communicated a little bit. And I'm here to tell you, it was real. It was worth the effort. It really, really was. It was worth the effort. I got to meet people from various areas of employment, various ideas in golf, and we got to talk a lot of golf. And so that was a lot of fun. And got to help a couple of guys out. That was even better. I just can't recommend it enough. It really was very, very nice. So that's where we're going to go with that. Let's see. But if they have another one, I'm certainly looking to go, and hopefully that happens. All righty, let's see if I can make this happen. Nope. Let's see. Nope. I'm looking at my. Here we go. And here we go. And let's see if we can get these out. Not yet. All righty. Well, one of these, I'm going to turn this into a video eventually, so that's what it is. Things that we did. We got some sets completed, actually, and sent them out just before me leaving. That was a good thing. We've got a couple more. They're sitting in the shop. They're going to a shaft going back to Canada, which is another thing, the VA Composites Nemesis. And we did that one for a Titleist. And that was pretty cool. And I think that was about the end of it. So let's get to the questions. All right. To the top we go. There's Charlie. Hello, buddy. Rounds 84 and 77. Woohoo! You're getting close, man. 75 only round. The schedule is getting hectic again, kids and sports. There you go. Question: do you guys use the same ball all season? For me, the answer is yes. Yes, I do. Uh, I I can use other balls when it gets cooler, but I just use the same one. Must be those Wilson forged irons you put together. Huh. All right, here we go. Very good, no doubt. There you go. Those are. I call that Zen golf, Matt. Zen golf. And there we got the. They are very nice, I have to admit. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that. Teed off by 7:40 and got done and home by 10. They're saying something. And no practice swings. Just get up and hit it. That's about the way you got to do it, man. Oh, look at that. We're a great team, Robone. Teed off at 5:15 both days. Done by 8:30. There you go. That's 3.5 hours or 3 hours and 15 minutes. Not bad. Brendan, how are you, sir? And walking. You are the man, Charlie. As you get to course by 5 and go over with the greens practice chip, get the feel for the club head. Awesome. Oh, and that's what Matt says. 85% of the rounds. I probably need to walk 85% of my rounds if it wasn't so doggone up and down. All righty. Peter from Myrtle Beach, how are you, sir? How's it going? And there's Ron. Thank you for joining us, sir. There we go. Brendan's got something. My Callaway 17, you arrived today. I haven't had a chance to hit it. It looks like a bomber. I believe it will be. If you like the other one, this one's going to go very, very far as well. Deuce, what do you say, man? he ordered that from over there. He's on the other side of the pond. There's Krister from Sweden. How are you, sir? I saw you've been out and about every once in a while. There's Deuce looking at getting a second-hand set of Mizuno Mp20s. The rust is on some of the faces will drive me nuts. What's the best way to deal with this condition? Purchase less used heads? Well, so when you see rust on the face, particularly with Mizuno, and the MP20s, I believe that's when they started reapplying the copper underneath, right? So you have the raw metal, you've got the copper underlay, and then you got the nickel slash chrome on the outside. And it takes quite a bit to get through those. So if you're starting to see like a dot on there, then somebody's using them up pretty good. If it's just getting in between the grooves and it's showing up in between the grooves, that's probably something that's occurred from playing places that are sandy, right? Or that have a very coarse soil, and they're getting into the grooves, causing them to get chewed up a little bit because they may have not been cleaned out rapidly. Now, if they doesn't have the dot and they look pretty clean, what you can do is clean it off with a brush or a greenie and dry it off and see if it comes back. You have to keep the clubs dry, right? That's what stops it. Now, if they're worn out, there's nothing you can't stop it. And yeah, getting less used heads is the way to go. However, they always say, well, you can put wax on it to stop it. That's true, except for now you've introduced a foreign substance to the face, and that's illegal. So we don't want to do necessarily something like that. So I mean those are the cases. In some cases, you could just clean it off and be good to go. And it just depends on the wear that you see on them. Me too, brother. Me too. Tried to play today. It was incredibly slow. Roadblock on the first hole. They finally let me through number 2T and another roadblock, skip to 4. Another roadblock, try again tomorrow. Wow. Dude, what's up with that? Unfortunately, when we were doing the golfing thing on the first round on the river course, a twosome got in behind us, and the third group out had to live with these guys trying to hit into him to kind of send him a message. The unfortunate part about it was they could have let him through and they would have ran into it 2 more times, and then the 2 in front of us, because everybody else in front of us was keeping pace. They would have had to have played through the entire golf course. Now I'm a big fan of letting players through when they're playing fast, but particularly if there's room up in front, right? If I'm the cause of them being able to catch me, then yeah, let them play through. But if the whole course is jammed, they're not. All they're going to do is be worried about how they're going to play through the next one, the next one, the next one, and you're not really golfing. All you're doing is dodging traffic. So you just slow down, take your time, and have some fun at that point. Yeah, me too, Charlie. Yep. Well, we haven't yet. We're always hoping for the best, Matt, but I think time and effort has caught up with us. Richard Hall, sorry about your dog. I lost my little buddy last summer. It's hard. It certainly is, bud. It certainly is. We lost Nick just a couple months ago, and that one was tough too. Matt Spawn, what's your favorite wedge that's currently on the market? Well, I think I'd have 2 right now. Personally, I like the Callaway Full Toe. I like the full toe because it's got on the, if you look at it from the face side, the bottom is just ever so slightly curved that way, and then it's got a big curve, good radius on the sole with a little heel and toe removal. The reason why I like that is I'm up in a mountainy area with moguls and whatnot, so downhill shots and uphill shots are quite common, and so that removal of that metal allows me to get through the ball, and it feels very good. That it's got the raw face, and it really feels well, right? It feels pretty good, and I just I think it goes pretty good. My other one was I think another one that's very good is very undersung is the Wilson staff model. That Wilson staff is a forged club. It is fully covered. There's no raw on it, and it's very aggressive face, and it gets through. And it's very much a standard. It's a traditional wedge with a. It's not real wide on the sole. It's very narrow, but it's got that curvature for the heel and toe, and but it has a bunch of bounce, and those are some of my favorites. The Mizuno Wedge is nice because it's nice. It's cool because it has that denim copper. I think it gives it a slightly softer feel. Slightly. Um, some folks have I fit and I let them hit. They didn't come to the same conclusion. So I can't really give you too much on that one because they didn't make too many. They didn't make anything in denim copper for a lefty. So I can't give you too much from a personal aspect. And there you go. So from a wedge point of view, the as part of our golfing thing, the Titleist rep showed up to fit the guys, and most of them took up after the wedges, which is a good call because they make a good wedge. And they got told different things, which is a good thing. Uh, man, I got a picture of it, or it's on the thread, and the dude is sitting there in this tremendous heat with this tremendous humidity, wearing a vest. He's wearing a vest. Now, I don't know about you, but that's like torture. You guys might as well just put a plastic bag over his head and cut a hole and just brought it down and covered him. Might as well done the same damn thing. It was something else. I was like, really? Did anybody actually get him? And he was, I guess, he was sweating up a storm, but he was a soldier about it. So good for him. Thank you, sir. You are the man. Man, I tell you what, that was one Charlie. That was one thing I wanted to do. I wanted to get into some blue crab in a big way because I was telling the guys that when we lived there, Cape St. Clair, me and a buddy, we would walk down to the pier. And it was about, I don't know, three-quarters of a mile, a half a mile away, somewhere in that area. Of course, we always say that. It was a mile away. And it turns out it's a half a mile. Go down there and crab from about 10 to 2 in the morning and walk on back. And that's when you can do it without anybody worrying about stealing you or anything like that. And then the next day, the moms would cook it up and we would be eating. I asked we talked about that with the SWAT guy, and I asked him what half a bushel of crab was going for 130, 140 bucks. Uh, dude, that's expensive stuff. So yeah, needless to say, we didn't get any crab. I was kind of jonesing for a crab cake too, because those things are great. I mean, they really are. And I can tear up some blue crab now. There you go. All right, Travis K from New Jersey. I knew that one. Did you ever play any other sports or only golf? No, I was actually. Uh, I had a partial ride to play baseball at a very, very, very small college, and just I didn't have enough money to go, so I joined the Navy instead. Of course, I also played football when I was younger. Basketball, I didn't. I showed up. That was about it. I was horrible at it. But if it ended in ball, I tried to play it. Uh, and then those went away, and now it's golf. Thank you, Matt. Krister, all the golf is starting to take its toll on the body. Uh-oh. But there's currently two drivers in the bag. Both are Wishawn 919s. Nice. Oh, you got to the Wishawns, huh? 44.5 face, 1 degree open, the other is a degree closed. Okay. Now, for all you guys listening, the Wishon 919 THI it's actually a bendable driver. And if you have somebody with enough skills, they can actually do about a degree or two without going too crazy. It can actually be bent for a lie angle, but you got to have the right gear. And normally if you want to do it at 100% correct, you need a clamshell that goes over top of it, and then you do your bending. For those of us that don't have that, but we do have bending machines that will actually fit a wood, then you can do that. And you got to be very careful. I've done it, but you just got to be very, very careful. And that was one of the first drivers that actually experimented with cup face. Okay, with cup face, where it was like this, and then the rest of the driver. So you had a very, very large sweet spot. And when that thing first came out and I was doing fittings, it was beating a truckload of OEMs. It was beating them all day long. And then the thing that he really did that shocked everybody is he made we called it a thumper. And it was a very large 3-wood. It was a tall face 3-wood. It was about yay big. It was like a predecessor to the Frankenstein, or the one that Callaway made. But had a really tall face. It was a 3-wood head, but it was basically a mini driver. And man, oh man, guys would get a hold of that thing, and they hit it further than most drivers. So yeah, you got a good one in the bag, Krister. Mike S. from upstate New York, Syracuse area. There you go. I see Tour Edge is going crazy with commercials during the senior tour events. What's your opinion on their irons? Sorry about your dog. Thank you, Mike. So, Mike, Tour Edge is truly really big with the senior tour. They've found a bit of a niche there, right? They when they get over there, they've got this niche in the senior tour, and they've had it, and they've got it, and nobody's beating them. I don't think that they have the marketing resources to take on the Pings or the Callaways or the TaylorMades or anything like that. Unfortunately, although from a 3-wood perspective, I would imagine you probably do see some of those exotics in the bags. For guys that are searching for stuff, they'll get that in there, but not. You probably won't see Tour Edge in there because of it would be an exotics club and not a Tour Edge club, because there's two kinds, right? The Tour Edge is what everybody sees, and then there's the exotics line. And I say that the Tour Edge stuff is a very quality product. And if I didn't know any better, with this direct to consumer stuff that you're starting to see, that Tour Edge probably wasn't the original one that did that kind of stuff. And it's very nice stuff. Is Tour Edge going to ever find its way on the tour as far as PGA Tour? Probably not. And it's just because there's too many other companies willing to pay a lot more than Tour Edge is in order to get them in a bag. That's the business end of it. Now, on the exotic side of it, there's some really nice stuff out there. And could that find its way into a bag? Yeah, probably, but not until somebody wants to sell it. And that's the reason why, or push it. And that's the reason why you're seeing it on the senior tour. So hopefully that helped you out. Michael Barber, how are you, sir? Thank you for joining us again, staying up late. Josh Fruits, what is your current turnaround time for building a set of irons? Well, once we get the pieces parts, I'd say we're within a week to 10 days. That's probably a pretty good number. It was much, much longer. We were very, very busy, but it's since shortened down now. Yeah, Matt's another Wishon driver carrier, and he hits the crap out of it. There's Jerry Smiley. What do you say, buddy? Finally remembered the time difference and got here on time, working hard on my handicap. Shave 4 points. That is saying something, man. That's excellent. Another 3 points, and I can consider myself an average golfer. Yeah, yeah. Well done, buddy. Well done. There you go. I'm telling you, the Washon product is actually very well done. That's another one of those, just like the Tour Edge stuff, the Washon product, and it's built by club makers who care. And it's out of the UK, so if you're on that side of the pond, it should be okay. A little easier, I would think. Here we go. Yep. I have a S2S black shaft. Okay. The S2S black, that's the one for the guy that's the aggressive swinger, if I recall correctly. Or for you, it's the little slightly shorter backswing. It pulls down on a little bit more. Yeah. And we put the Acura Tour in his. Yes, we did. Zen Golf is a better name. Yes. That's what I like calling it. Thomas, what do you say, buddy? Thanks for getting back on here. You got a question on grip tape. I use GolfWorks, and it's tough to get the grip off of a regrip, like heat baked tough and storm. Okay. Uh, so if you're talking about taking the grip tape off, right? And we use GolfWorks grip tape all the time. And I'm not sure if there's two different kinds. I don't know that there is, other than the way that they get sent, in the roll or in those strips. In order to take that stuff off, I have a heat gun. And once it gets up to temperature, I go 10 seconds on one side, 10 seconds on the other side, and it normally peels off with no problem. However, if you don't, then yeah, it's just, you might as well. It's like Chinese finger puzzle or torture. It pulls and it pulls and it pulls and it pulls and it pulls in just little bitty pieces, and it's hard. And so I would suggest uh, the like a heat gun. If you have like a propane, you can use propane flame on it, but be very, very careful and be very, very fast and a little bit shorter. Might be 5 seconds each side, or if you're going really fast, maybe 10 seconds each side. But don't let it catch on fire. There's Josh. All right. Last week I did a fitting for the EQ-N1 links. Did you get them? Ended up with a dynamic 105. That's a good shaft. And Jumbo Mike's large grip. Well, you liked those before. Man, you're just getting all into it. The way that you're swinging actually is probably a pretty good idea. It's closer to you get really close to almost a one plane kind of thing, and it makes it easy. Regripped and reshaft my own ping Raptor. Thank you for teaching me how. You're more than welcome, buddy. That was a neat one, and the guy was very, 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 very creative in his letter. I thought that was kind of unique. And that Rapture, that was a different animal altogether. 6 through the sand wedge. All right. Well, then you can tell when you get them. You can tell us about You always have the proverbial. I hit my tall iron shorter and my short irons further, and see, you can tell us because you got the skill sets to be able to judge that. All right, Todd Reinhardt with the Indian Chief. Nice. Thoughts about the Callaway MCB irons? MCB. Do you mean DCBs? If it's the D, I'm not sure of the MBs. There's a TCB and there's a DCB. And the DCB is the Draw Bias Club. That's the Apex. It's a great club. It's a forged club. It has a lot of. It's the same loft characteristics as the regular one. It just has a little more offset in it, and they call it the deep cavity back. And it has just a slightly wider sole, so it gets the ball up in the air just a hair better. Great long iron for those guys that have regular sets and they want to try and they might struggle with a tall iron. But pardon me, it's a great club. Now, if you're talking about the TCBs or the ones that are a little bit more players-like, that have that little weight thing. It looks like it's screwed into the back. Those things are very precise. They're very nice. They're well made. You better be a ball striker. They're not as strong as, say, the other ones are. They're made for guys with a little higher swing speed, and you need to be a little bit more precise with your swinging. But it is a very, very nice set, to be sure. There's Matt. Look at that. Christopher, let me know if you can feel the club head with those grips, because Matt, you didn't have the ultralights. You had the heavy ones. He's getting the ultralight ones. He probably should. John, what do you say? Imbalzano? Hopefully I said that right. First cast, thank you for joining us, sir. Big fan. Went to Mp20s, pitching wedge. Love the control. They are nice. Mp20s are nice. They are very, uh, Mizuno doesn't make junk. They're really a nice club. Waiting to see what they're going to come out with this time around. Because this time around, we should be seeing something in the JPX, right? We saw the 921s. If history shows, it'll be 923s, and they'll have to. We'll see what they come up with. They're going to have a hot metal pro. They normally have a forged and then a tour model. They'll certainly have the tour model because I think that's a popular look for a lot of folks. And we'll just see whether or not they downsize one of those sets. It'd be kind of interesting. That's funny. It turns out that my buddy did it himself, and the grips removed his hands taught him something new. There we go. We're spreading club making joy wherever we go. That's good. Matt Revlock, I will do a second fitting for my matching. I use those grips on my TSR. I can feel the head. All right. Very good. Deuce, didn't know about the copper base on the chrome head. That's great information. Yeah, they just started doing that. That was one of the big pushes for that particular club model because before that, in the way back in the day, and when Mizuno was just exclusively player-like, they did that, and that's how they had a great feels. They underlaid with copper to give it a softer feel, and then they went away from it, thinking that the softer metal would do it. And as they kept producing, it started getting harder and harder, and they've since gone back to it. And you see what the MP20s, 22s are just super duper. Very good. Michael Barber, going back to putters, I've gone to the Las Vegas. All right. If memory serves, that's basically, it looks like a Model 7, but it's from Toulon. The Toulon is really, it's a precise putter. It's very, very nice. I don't think you can go wrong with it. I don't think you can. I did get with that golfing with those guys over in the Northeast section, in that region. It was amazing all the different types of putters there were. One of the oldest standing putters. One guy had a never compromise putter. He was another fellow lefty, and that was pretty cool. Uh, However, I did see a sick putter. I saw a Peretti putter. I saw a Scotty putter. I saw what was it? Oh, an Adele. Saw an Adele putter. In fact, there was a couple of Adele putters, and trying to think what Ryan had in his bag. He had the sick putter, and there was another bladed club. There was a handful of Odysseys there as well, a couple of Odysseys. So there's a whole lot of difference in this. What got me thinking is this fellow that had a Peretti, which we've been a dealer. He put a one of those stability putters in there, stability putter shafts on there. It was quite, if you put all those numbers together, yes, it was quite a pricey putter. I said, let me see that. And he says, well, I had to make it heavy. I'm not sure how you do that because it's milled, but I got to put it together, or I got to putt it, um, and feel it. And now I get where that feel comes from. It does give a feeling of stability, But could another putter shaft do that? I'm thinking I'm going to try and find out. And that might be something to look after right there because it just felt really, really solid. I like the slightly heavier feel on it. It just was really nice. So I know where they're coming from. I just want to make sure that it works now. There's Thomas Evening Ramen Jim. I have a question about grip tape. We did that one. Okay. CHS Baseball bought a used set of Titleist T300 stock serial numbers only on the is that normal? Yes. On the they norm In the past they used to put them on it all. Matter of fact, Titleist used to put it on the ferrule, and then they would put them together. They don't do that anymore, obviously. And instead of printing it all on the other ones, they just, as I've been told, they only put it on one. 6-iron makes sense since that's typically makes it in most folks' bags. It was the TCBs. Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, it's a milled putter or a forged and milled putter. It's got that weight in the back. Very nice. From what I've been told, very precise club, meaning in its build. You got to be a slightly better ball striker. I would put it in the player's cavity back category. Very little offset, nice thin top line. It's a good look at address. If you're that type of guy, yeah, they're super duper. Uh, and because of it being forged, it's going to come with a forged price tag. All righty. Not sure what's going on today. Some days everyone just plays at a snail's pace. The advantage of having a membership is we can quit after a few holes and it doesn't wound the wallet. Perfect. Right? Perfect. That was another thing. So, membership, right? And all these guys over there, I was like, well, this must be an East Coast thing because I'm not from the East Coast. But all these guys were talking about uh, being part of a golf club or, being members at a club. And I over here where I live, of course, I'm in a very rural area and not very many people. And so the dynamic is much, much different. So I had to ask, why do you guys take the time to do that? And what it comes right down to is that there's just so many guys on the East Coast and gals playing golf that the municipal or the municipal courses are just jammed up, right? There's some extraordinarily nice municipal golf courses, according to these guys, but they're always full. And if you're part of a golf club, you don't have nearly, just like you're talking, you don't have nearly that issue, and you can get out there. So I guess that you got to weigh the pros and the cons for prices and playing and being a member and all that stuff, but your access to golf is much, much easier. That's something to be said. They all used Bethpage Black as an example where, dude, unless you're there at the before the break of dawn or you're there just before it's getting ready to sunset, getting on is nearly impossible, and you're walking. So you got to keep that one in mind as well. All right. Oh, look at that. Look at Rob Bowen getting in there. There's Austin checking in from Austin. Nicely done. Thank you, sir. Hey, Scott, I haven't seen you for a while. What's going on? I was installing some new KBS Black PVD high rev 125s and some SM8s. Nice. Anywho, I was removing the tip weight from the old shaft and the damn thing shot out and hit the wall. Yeah. So what that is, Scott, is I've had that happen before too, and it doesn't take a whole lot of heat, does it? Zzz, poof, and off it goes. What that means is that your golf shaft was sealed well at the butt end of the club, top end of the club, and basically when you heat it up because it's a very finite volume, you get it heated up and you just think of it as a potato gun. You basically had a really small version of a potato gun, and that's what it was. Yeah, but it's kind of you're like, what the heck was all that about? And there you go. There's Ryan. What do you say, man? Right on about the pants and the vest, Jim. Tyler Sky, we couldn't get him to take a break. Love hearing your thoughts. Yeah, so Ryan was my partner on the first round, and it's the first time. And I never said anything, so Ryan, I'm gonna tell you now. This is the first time I ever watched guys play with arm sleeves on. So we had two guys out there, and they were wearing arm sleeves to protect from the sun. And I totally get it because, right, well, where's it at? Right here is a spot that's going to get removed eventually. That makes the third chunk of that stuff. And but it didn't seem to bother him, and it stayed on. I was like, well, that's cool. And Ryan has a unique, we'll say, a unique sense of style. And he was wearing some Maryland flag type armbands, and it was really kind of cool. I'm thinking it was cool that it works. Ryan's a good soul. He's got a hell of a good sense of humor, and when he tags it, it goes a while. It does goes a while. And that sick putter he was using was on fire on that first round. I was going to get Surf Dude on there because he was all about the Caddyshack quotes, and I was telling him that since I got this, I call it "It's the power of the rock," is what made that go. But there it is. I'm glad you joined, brother. Appreciate it. I'm trying to get those pictures out. I've downloaded all the stuff from the camera. This represents the iPhone. Now, if I can get this doggone thing out off of there, life will be good. All righty. Robin's talking to some folks. Oh, Scott in Cincinnati. Yep, that's where he's at. Here we go. Here's a new one. Schwarzkabel. Yeah, the vest of the fitter was a bit odd. Yeah, I don't know if it's like the local uniform that you got to wear or what, but it was funny on the way out. There was a guy that was working for University of Maryland. And he was wearing a vest. And I'm like, dude, seriously, you're wearing a vest? He says, I know, right? It had Maryland on it. He had Maryland red. He had a Maryland backpack. Everything he had a Maryland logo on it. And I think when he climbed into the plane, he finally took it off because the air conditioning wasn't on in the plane as we were waiting for the extra baggage. And so we got it there. Yes, yes, he was. There we go. Oh, if it's the dog, I know who this one is. Yep. This is the one that made, if I'm right, this is the one that made the pulled pork. All right, and it was good. Thumbs up button, yeah. Oh, good. That was the fun part. I just love when we were all talking that stuff with Jamie, Jeff, everybody down there. That was a really good get together. It's in a very intelligent group of people talking about different things. It was really neat. And we had our comedic relief, and we all know who that was. Oh, I don't know about that, Ryan, but yeah, it was fun. Oh, the club doctor's in. What do you say, sir? There you go. See, it's a popular thing, and it does take seconds. The UK. All right. So the club doctor, that is a very, very common name for a lot of folks. They'll call the club MD, club doctor, doctor club, all that stuff. Hair dryer does work. It takes a little bit longer, but you're correct. Ooh, an old ISI. How'd that go? How did that go? I still got those ferrules. In fact, that ping thing, the discussion for the ping came up and we talked about those inserts and how you can clock them in order to change the face and the lie angle and stuff by sanding different pieces parts. That was a lot of fun. Not anymore. I used to use them quite regularly. And they were basically when I wasn't doing OEM, they were my number one. And I still keep them, and I still have all the ones except for the latest iron. In fact, the that 919 was on my fitting cart for when we hit clubs for length. I had that thing on there since day one. I bet I've had that club head. Oh, it's in the teens of years, and it took all the punishment. And the thing is and it does. It takes a lot of punishment, and it's a very nice club. In fact, I still have one more right over there. It's very. In fact, I'll show you here. So this is one of the when they were doing black on the bottom. There you go, and face, head, very traditional in its shape, right? And this is actually bendable, and it goes out there. The guys, if in the UK, you're really close. I always get their name wrong. It's Tour Golf. They have a lot to do. They're kind of like a Golf Works of the UK, but they're a really nice group of guys willing to help anybody. Oh, okay. Did I miss something? What happened to Faldo? I don't know. I'm glad to. I liked him. He was a good guy. Anyone tried the sub 70 clubs? I can't say that I have. I'd like to have them send me a few to review, but I can't say I have. I know some guys have hit them and liked them. Ryan, if you remember, there was some guy that was hitting them. Oh, it was probably Tom. Yeah. There you go. I did. I know I saw some in somebody's bag. I just never had the opportunity to ask about them. There you go. Oh, Nozzle, there you go. I was wondering if you were going to get on. Great time. Looked up the Acro wedge shafts, and you were recommending assuming this is the one listed on their site. Yes, it is. You could see it. It would be right over there. You can't see it very well, but yeah, they're the one. Yeah, it's the I series. I think they call them that. Yeah, the Acra I series wedge shafts. That's what you're looking for. And well done on that. I saw some of the scores on the front nine. I see carried right through and kept schooling folks. Well done. I actually got it down to a formidable. I don't know what Jamie and Jeff got to, but I got I ended up with like a 42. That was a 3-putt on the last hole. I was happy with that, and I took a 7 on one, so that'll help you out. Dirty Spikes, what do you say? Yes, he was. Hit the up, yeah. Don't forget. Well, since I haven't said it, since they're saying it for me, and I appreciate it. If you would hit the subscribe button and the like button down below, and this way it gets pushed up into the ratings. There really is an analytics that's part of this, and the more engagement, the more likes, and the more of that stuff, the more it raises to the top. So when my next video comes out, it gets seen by more. I was really kind of disappointed in the last one on the wedges because normally those club reviews take right off, and for some reason this one's being held back a little bit. No, C. Nosel he has got a swing. He's got a really good swing, and he knows how to put it out there. And as he would say, he made the mistake once of letting me get inside of his head. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I agree with that just yet, but there we go. Yes, that's a good one to have. I guarantee you that's a good one to have. Nice putter, Cleveland Huntington Beach. They are pretty nice. So we'll go back. So now, so I took off at the turn because of all everybody's telling me about the beach traffic, and I get there, and of course you heard the thing on the delay and all that stuff on the flight. Only for me to get a text from MD Golf Hacker, and to tell me that, well, I could have done the whole round because it was still the same 56 minutes to get across. I was like, oh, man. So there you go. All right, Thomas, what do we got to say here, bud? By the way, cut down the putter from 35 to 33 with some foot powers. Big. Oh, okay. Yes, it does. It puts you in that proper. It puts you in that proper stance, and it gets you over the ball. And a lot of it is where you can actually see the line. You know, you get too far away or too far over, and you get over there where you can see the line. It makes a big, big difference. You are welcome, sir. No problem. Yeah, there's Bob. Hello, buddy. Our course is a public course, but not a municipal course. The crowd during the week is mostly retired guys and gals. It's a nice golf community. We don't play weekends because of the daily feed crowds. Okay, just kind of the opposite, but good enough. Braden, love the content. I've learned a lot since finding your channel a week ago. Well, thank you very much, Braden. If you would, make sure you subscribe, and that way we can get this out to more folks. Aha, very good. Yep. Very good. I like the Seymour. The Seymour putter has got a really neat idea to it. I think, unfortunately, I think it's kind of bland, but it's very. I do like the idea of where you can line it up so you're good to go. Yeah. Even if we didn't have good rounds, I'm here to tell you. Just remember to practice what we discussed. We'll be good to go. Diamond golf. That's it. That's it. You're correct, sir. Diamond golf. And you are correct. They're the ones that actually bought Whoosh on, and they were good friends with them. They've been friends for a lifetime, and they're very well versed in that kind of stuff, and they're great folks to work with. And actually, being over here in the U.S. with the shipping, they've got some. Apparently, they do enough shipping where they can work deals with shippers, and in some cases, if you order one club head, it's going to cost. But if you get a handful of club heads to a certain price level, then the shipping is extraordinarily reasonable. No different than going maybe from here to California. So yeah, it's very good. They've set it up. Oh yeah, I saw that where he said he was coming off of there. Yeah, had his time. It was his last broadcast. Good. All right, good for him. Braden just got the sub 699 Pro U2 fantastic club, my favorite in the bag. That's my own experience though. I got a lot of guys that like the sub 70. I mean, the guys that have got it, I'm not hearing any complaints. Uh, so that's something to say. I would say if you went with a fitting and you got your specs, that you could order a proper set from them, and they would probably do a pretty good job. Really, I'll be darned. Now over there, just so you know, if you're being the club doctor, the Accra has a an extension there, and Lee, and he's in England, and he might be able to help you out. I'm sure he's a stockist, and since they're along with Taylor or True Temper, you might find your way into a new shaft supply. So I get with look at Accra and look up Lee. Good deal. Good deal. Have you tried the Lazarus wedges? Really good wedges for the money. I have not. I can't say that I have. The round Sunday was faster than Saturday. I think we finished in just over 4 hours. Well, I tell you what, we got going around we got the first 9 done in 2. So yeah, you probably weren't too far off. The guys in front of us, I called them the uh, I call them boys in the hood. There, these got boys in the hood. There's the Backstreet Boys. Like I said, the Backstreet Boys were struggling a little bit, but they were keeping pace and they were having fun doing it. So all's the better. There's Bob. Thank you, sir. I'm gonna. You know what? That might be worth something to do a video on to say we got it. That would be a lot of fun. I think we could have some serious fun with that one. Well, if you do that, those guys over would probably take care of you. I did look at the Tacoma kit. I've built a series of wedges. That's all I've got from them. And I will say, from the appearance, it looks very nice. I've done two sets of the blacks. Very very nice. Now, how does it perform? I don't know. They have a limited lefty set. They've called me on it and said, "Hey, if you want to build one for these guys, they'll send the clubs out." And I said, "Well, we'll see about that." And so I'm still looking at their stuff, and we'll go from there. All righty, look at that. 631 and made it all the way to the bottom. That's great. That almost never happens. We're either super long or just barely short. So that's good. It lets me recover from the plane flight. All right, guys. So again, if you would like and subscribe, I would appreciate that greatly. And thank you guys, thank you Ryan, the other guys from showing up. It was fun. Certainly looking forward to do it again. It was a time to remember to be sure. And that place is nice. I mean, I could see us going back. I could see going back. And that cottage was super duper nice. I just wish I could get them off of here or put them on there in order to show you guys. But hopefully we'll get it into the video and you'll be able to see it. And again, guys, as always, let's see your scores. Go low.